Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Final Fantasy X Unit Only Challenge. We are about to take on the Spectral Keeper, and before you do this, you want to equip an evade and counter weapon and a Berserk Ward, which I showed you how to farm up at least one or two videos ago. So make sure you have those both equipped on your main character, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. So there is a specific strategy I'm going to do to this and do for this. And for this strategy, it does work about maybe 3 out of 4 times, maybe more like 80% of the time. So you want to be a little bit careful with how you do it. So I'll show you exactly how I do it, how I've been practicing this. Yes, I did practice this fight for you a few times, just to make sure the strategy was sound. Alright, and here we go. Turn 1 with Yuna, you're going to be casting Protect. Reason being, all of his attacks are physical damage, so that's going to reduce that by about half. With your other characters, you're going to go ahead and defend, except with this character right in the middle, you want to move to the far side. So you want to make sure Yuna's on one of the sides there, which is either the first or the third slot in your party. So, second turn, you want to switch weapons to the same weapon you've already got equipped, the evade and counter. And then he's going to take a turn to do that Berserk Tail. Now the reason we have everyone spread out the way they are is so that if he does choose to attack one of your party members, that gives you a few free turns without taking damage. Now he chose to attack me first, so I'm going to go ahead and put regen on me already. And with my other characters still defending. Continue defending, and go ahead and cast Holy from now on, unless you need to heal yourself, in which case, of course, heal yourself. The only thing that can really kill you at this point is the glyph mines. Those frustrating things will sometimes be spawned and then activate before you have a chance to react. So you want to be really careful. Well, sometimes you can't be careful enough in how you deal with these. Okay, so now see how he attacked Titus there. Now he's facing away from both of the characters, which means his counterattack ability here will do nothing. So we're going to go ahead and Holy, and you'll see him counterattack here and hit the 3 squares in front of him, circles in front of him, and it won't affect us at all. So okay, see, there's that glyph thing, and it looks like it's going to take out Kamari anyway, so that's a little bit of a downer for us, but we're doing just fine here. Okay, now he's going to turn around and face me, so from now on he's going to be facing me and counterattacking me and using Berserk Tail on me. Now, the reason we have that Berserk Ward on, his Berserk chance is only 50%, which means that Ward is enough to keep him from actually doing any kind of real damage. So, okay, so now he's spawned those glyph mines again, and it looks like they're in a place where it's not going to be a problem for us. I'm just going to keep casting Holy until I get into real trouble. And here's another counterattack. But as you can see, that regen is really what's keeping us going here. Not a whole lot of damage that we're taking here. And just with those glyph mines, it's going to heal us right back up to a level we can deal with. So, cast Holy again. Let's see if this is enough to kill him. Sure enough, and so that's that fight. And then for the second half of this video, I'm going to skip forward to the Yunalesca fight, which is going to be quite a bit different and probably a bit longer as well. Now, since we don't have a Death Ward armor, we're going to have to do that in a specific pattern, so I will show you exactly how to do that. Alright everyone, welcome back, and I apologize for the delay in this one. Now, with this fight, you do have to be very, very careful how you do it, because it's very easy for you to do this wrong. So I'm going to show you how to do it the right way. First of all, have your off characters defend or switch weapons or attack themselves. Probably best if they just switch weapons, but I'm going to defend here because I'm lazy and I'm doing this fight for you, as I've said many times. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you are going to cast Regen on Yuna. Now you might be saying, but she's going to be turned into a zombie, and that's partly true, but until that point, it's not going to be that much of a problem. So then after that, you're going to start casting Holy at the boss. Now, the first phase takes 3 holies to get through. But you want to be careful when you choose to actually get through that phase, because it's going to be a little bit... if you do it at the wrong time, then it's really going to start hurting you, and you don't want to do that. So, like I said, I will show you how to do it. Now, you can see the regen is keeping Yuna alive and keeping her going. So if you want, you can throw a high potion here. I'm going to actually go ahead and use another holy so that there's only 1 left. Like I said, the first phase takes 3 holies. And she tries to silence you anytime you cast a spell, so we're going to have to use an echo herb or whatever it is. And that's fine. The armor we're using, by the way, is the Lucid one, the Lucid Ring. That's the one that has the Confuse Ward. This is the one we picked up in Via Purifico. And that Silence Ward is helping us. It's, as you can see, that first time I did not get silenced, the second time I did. So we are going to use Echo Scream just to get rid of that status. And if you want, normally you wouldn't be doing this right here, but I'm going to go ahead and throw a high potion at Yuna just to get her health a little bit higher and make it okay. Now, you notice she does a normal attack alternating with an absorb attack. That absorb attack will always target the highest health player, and it will always do 1/2 of their maximum health pool, not their current health, but their maximum health pool, so you want to be really careful. Okay, so this is the point where we are going to go ahead and cast the last holy. Now, the reason we're doing it now, though, is if you look at the active battle time, I am really close to being able to do 2 normal type attacks before the boss gets a turn. Now, Yuna is not able to do 2 attacks before a boss ever, or at least this boss, but that's right where we want to be, is right where it's almost there. So, and then the thing is that Holy actually pushes you further down the active battle time, or however you say it. So you want to do it so that basically you're not going to be skipping a turn. Skipping more than 1 turn, okay? So here comes the 3rd Holy. And you want to do this the same where you are high on the active battle time and the boss is low each time, just so that you don't have a problem with that. I did have a problem with that going from 2nd to 3rd phase because, or maybe it was from 1st to 2nd, but the boss used this Hellbiter ability, which causes zombie status, and then immediately cast a cure because she got 2 turns in a row there. So, and it looks like that might be the case again. But see there, she's casting regen. That's okay. Regen status is fine, even if that's on Yuna, because she's already got it on her. You can see there. So now what we want to do is use Holy Waters to get that zombie status off, and then the regen will start going the right way again, as long as it lasts. It's not a permanent thing, but it'll last for a little while, and that'll help out. So, and now it's just Yuna and Yunalesca. The final showdown, except it's not the final showdown. Okay, so now I get a 2nd turn before the boss goes. That's just because I'm using items here, and just because of that, I'm going to go ahead and throw in a high potion now that I'm at not in zombie status. So now this form is going to take you 5 holies to finish off, but you do want to be very careful because the boss can choose to use healing type spells like Cura, Curaga, and Regen on you that can really start to hurt when it adds up. So you want to be real careful with that. Now, you also want to use Holy when you're not going to miss a turn. Basically, when the boss is going to take 2 turns, don't do it. So, but it is a little bit difficult because it ends up being a little bit of a boss uses Holy, we use an item, boss uses Holy, we use an item. So there's a little bit of that that's going to be going on, but that's okay to an extent. See, now that I've got my health fairly high, oh, the regen status wore off. Now that I've got my health fairly high, you can see here I'm going to be taking 2 turns before the boss again. I'm going to go ahead and do the Holy Water for the first turn. And for the second turn, I'm going to try to do a Holy here. And there is a small chance that the boss will use its highest damaging healing spell. If that happens, you're a little bit screwed and you're probably going to lose. But so she's going to use Hellbiter for her first turn. And then for the second turn, if she uses Regen, that's the best. Actually, Hellbiter is the best if she uses 2 of those in a row. Odds that she does that, not terribly great. But let's go ahead and Holy Water. And sure, why not? I believe that's 2 Holies that we've used in this form. There's a counter attack. It does a normal attack as a counter attack in this case. Now, just so you know, the normal attacks do a dispel effect, so you want to be careful about that. Well, I tell you what, I don't think she's using any healing spells yet. Maybe I was mistaken. So let's get some health back. See, there's a healing spell, which is going to top me off. And so that's a perfect opportunity to use another Holy. Now, before I do... okay, so yes, I have used 2 Holies. So this will be number 3. And I do have to apologize. This episode is going to be a little bit long, but... it's definitely worth it to show you guys this fight in its entirety because it is so specific in how it goes. So definitely worth a second episode, or a full-length episode. Okay. And going from phase 2 to phase 3, you have to be really careful when you do that. You have to do it at a very specific time. And you also have to be in zombie status, so I'll show you how we're going to do that. Now, as far as the, I already showed you the armor we're using. The weapon that you want to use is, I'm going to go ahead and do Holy number 4. The weapon you want to use is the one that you have 1 MP cost on. If you were not able to get a 1 MP cost, the boss right at the top of Mount Gagazet, that giant dragon one, that one has a chance to drop a half MP cost, so you do have the option to fight him multiple times. Let's see. Okay, this will be a perfect time. So yeah, you can fight that dragon boss multiple times if you really need to, but that'll be okay. Okay, so now, oh, and also a 1 MP cost and sensor weapon would be the best, just so you can keep a track of the boss's health here. But I'm not going to actually do that just because that's I don't want to put another weapon together just for this one fight. So okay, so now the reason we're doing this right now is, as you can see, we're going to be able to do Holy without having the boss take 2 turns in a row, and we're in zombie status. That's absolutely critical in this situation. So The only other way that you can do this fight as a single character only is you would have to customize two things on an armor. First, auto med, which will use these holy waters that we've been using through the fight manually. It'll use those automatically. But the second thing you need to get is death proof because of this boss's third phase first ability. So, okay, so now there it is, that Megadeath. So this form, though, it has a very specific pattern that it does for this fight, and I will walk you through it. Now he's using regen on me. That's actually very fortunate. She's using regen, whatever. Okay, so that was turns number, I like to think of that as turns number 5 and 1. Turn number 5 is always Megadeath. Now turn numbers 1 and 2 are going to be Hellbiter if you are not in zombie status. Now let me get myself out of zombie status real quick. If you are in zombie status, it's going to use a Cura or a Curaga or a regen just like you saw there. So there is a chance that you will lose this fight automatically once you go into this phase. If you do, just reset and it'll be okay. Okay, so that was turn number 2. Like I said, that's going to be a Hellbiter since we're not in zombie status. Turn number 3 is an ability called Mind Blast, which is going to be it's a small amount of damage, and on top of that it does Confuse status, but like I said, we have this Confuse Ward armor that we have equipped. So that's going to save us from that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cast Holy in this situation, even though she gets 2 turns. Because like I said, this is turns number 3, and then turn number 4. So turn number 3 is going to be that Mind Blast, which he'll use here shortly. Turn number 4 is going to be the same as turns 1 and 2. It's going to be a Hellbiter to get you into zombie status, or it's going to be some sort of a healing spell. And the thing is, we want that Hellbiter on turn number 4 to actually hit, so that we are in zombie status, because what that's going to do is prevent turn number 5 from happening, which is going to be a Megadeath. Okay? So now it looks like I'm going to be able to use Holy here and still have my next turn after that. So he's going to use the Megadeath here on this next turn, and that's going to do nothing because, again, we're in zombie status. And then we'll have a chance to cure off that zombie status before he starts using healing spells on us. So here comes this one. Okay, and now that did nothing, as you can see there. So now we're going to cure that status and force him to use the Hellbiter again 2 more times. And like I said, this is a pattern. The first 2 turns are going to be Hellbiter that you have to cure. Turn 3 is the Mind Blast, which is your chance to go all out on him. Turn 4 is going to be another Hellbiter that you do not want to cure, and then turn 5 will be the Megadeath that following which you definitely need to cure that status. So, okay, he was nice enough here to give us an extra turn. I'm going to go ahead and use an X potion here just to get the health up to full, because this is kind of a dangerous fight if you're not keeping yourself at least a high health. So I believe that was turn number 2. So let's go ahead and use the Holy Water. We'll find out though if that was turn 1 or 2 right here. Mind Blast, so that's turn number 3. And again, this is our chance to go all out and do some damage here. So we're going to do a Holy here. Oh, and I mentioned the first phase takes 3 holies, the second phase takes 5, and the third phase takes either 6 plus a regular attack, or just 7 holies. Either way is fine. The reason for that is because his health will be at something like 6 health. And since we do something like 300, that's fine. Okay, and we do have a chance to use another holy here, because his next ability is going to be that Megadeath, which will do nothing if we are in zombie status, so here we go. And by the way, again, this is not a strategy that I was creative enough to come up with. Not that I couldn't have, it's just that it was already there on GameFAQs, on the GameFAQ we've been following since the very beginning of the fight, of the walkthrough. So, just if you do want to see this strategy as it's written down, go to GameFAQs.com, look up Final Fantasy X, look up the Yuna only no summons challenge, and you will find it. So, again, back to the regular strategy. She's going to be kind enough to heal me because apparently she did not recognize that I was already healed or already in live status. Which, yay, we get an extra turn to cast Holy. Woohoo! Okay. And again, that melee attack that she does has a chance to dispel you, so gotta be a little careful with that. Okay, so that's turn number 2. I'm going to check her health now. Okay, so it's going to take 2 more. So let's go ahead and use the holy water, and then we'll just take 2 more turns really quickly. Here comes turn number 3. Now the last thing, I'm going to go ahead and use a regular attack here so that we can finish it off with the holy. You cannot kill this boss with with an overkill because it takes exactly 10,000 damage to do that much damage, and we can only do 1 damage short of that. So that's going to be the downside there. But now the exception to that is if you do happen to get someone's legendary weapon and you can do more than 10,000 damage with them. So this is going to finish off the boss here. And that's going to be it. There's just more storyline and more storyline for quite a while upcoming. The next chance we have to actually do anything, we are going to be building the final weapons that we'll be using for the game. So, so I will catch up with you guys after we've gotten on the airship, after we've talked to Maester Micah in Bavel, and that's going to be it. So I will catch up with you in the next video.